Hi all, I'm just doing some tests on two bits of kit I've got at the moment. One's a test on an antenna system, one's I'm just testing out the Alpha Antenna's jaw mount. So I thought I'd do both at the same time. I've got that grip to it, it's a fiberglass pole, mainly just keep it isolated for what I'm doing at the moment. What I'm aiming to do is I'm a bit limited for space for HF aerials on the balcony. I've got two permanent aerial systems which are up at the time. I live on a top floor of a block of flats, and I have two dedicated set of antennas up all the time which are on these. On the top of there is a hook which goes up over a parapet wall, and the middle section is normally kept for anything else. So on that side I've got a 2 metre big wheel and 2 metre slim jim, and on the other side you might be able to see the bottom of it, I've got a 4 metre dipole plus my 77's big wheel, but there's room on top to put something else. So all I want to do, I'm doing some tests at the moment to see if I can get away with using a motorised screwdriver type antenna. And they're reasonably expensive kits, it's a bit of kit to buy. And the idea of that is so I can leave a HF aerial which covers from 40 metres up to 10 metres on all the time. But I needed to see if I need a reasonable amount of grounding on them. On the higher bands it's not such a problem, but on the lower bands it is. So at the moment I'm just using my slide winder loading coil with an 8-foot MFJ telescopic whip. Just to see, I'm planning of using, grounding's the issue on this one, and I could use a lightning conductor. Don't really want to go in that direction. So what I'm going to do on the lower bands, or at least for 40 metres and upwards, I'm going to use my long wire. I've got a wire which comes off the Unnon down into the car park down there. It's just I don't think you can really see it. It's just some magnet wire which works well on top band to 60 metres, but isn't much cop from 40 metres and above. And those are the bands I want to use as well. And I can't keep on coming out, putting aerials up and taking them down in the mid section, which is used for my experimental aerials, and I'd like to leave an aerial up full time. So the experiment today is to see if I could get that to tune in reasonably well on 40 metres. The above bands won't be a problem. And what I've done, I've just led a wire coming from its ground through to my long wire, and if I switch my analyzer on, which is it's already set up on 40 metres, single, set to 7.1, and the SWR could get it down to is about 1.51, which is, I find that's acceptable. It might get better once it's up out in the clear. And if I unplug the counterpoise or ground to it, it then goes to infinity. So yeah, that works. So once it's up in the clear, it might tune in a bit better. I hope you find that interesting. I might, I'll tell you what, let's go in and plug the radio into it and see how it performs, just as it is now. And let's hope the aerial I do choose, either the Tar Heel or the Diamond one, remote screwdriver antenna, which is a bit cheaper than a Tar Heel, might have a chance of working. Right, that's the antenna all hooked up. That's my common mode choke. So let's go indoors and fire up the 7300 and see what I can work on 40 metres. With the aerial indoors, with it on 100 watts, the SWR on it, or the voltage standing wave, is about 1.7. That's with 100 watts going through it, so I can live with that. I think once it's up on the roof of the other area I'm planning to buy, once it's up on the roof, it should work okay. About on 50 watts, it's about 1-to-1. But I've got the option. I can just switch the tuner on, and yeah, matches. I'm happy with that. It's not in a great spot, but with a Tar Heel or the Diamond equivalent up on the roof, that should perform reasonably okay. Let's see if I can work some stations. Some of you may have seen a mistake earlier on in the video. I tuned the aerial for 7.1 and then did my test at 7.18 or 180, whatever. So I'm just shy or just high above 7.1, and with 100 watts, it's about, on this radio, 1.3 at 100 watts. I think this is going to work using the wire outside as a counterpoise. Right, let's see if I can still work one. It's receiving a lot better. I think this is going to work.
Calling into the British Isles and Europe. British Isles and Europe, CQ 40 meters. Hello 40 meters, hello 40 meters. Mexico 3 Yankee Sugar Bravo. Yankee Sugar Bravo. Calling CQ 40, hello 40. Hello 40 meters, calling to any contact. Any contacts on 40 meters. Mike 3 Yankee Sugar Bravo, listening 40.
Yeah, hi there, this is Golf 7, Charlie Romeo Quebec, over.
Okay, I do copy you, but I didn't get all your call. I got Germany 7, something Romeo, then another letter. The Germany 7 station, try it again, will you call again?
Okay, it's Golf 7, Charlie Romeo Quebec. Golf 7, Charlie Romeo Quebec, over.
Okay, Charlie Romeo Quebec. I got you that time. Don't know why I couldn't hear you the first time. It's very loud to me. My name is Sean. Sean is the name. I'm in the county in Avon, and we just had a very, very heavy rain shower. Temperature is only plus 10 degrees. 10 degrees is the temperature. G70 or Q, wonder where you are. Mike, the Yankee Sugar Bravo and the county of Devon. Microphone back over to you.
Yeah, okay, I think you said your name was John. Hi there, this is Golf 7, Charlie Romeo Quebec. Okay, did you lose you in the QSB there? The name this way is Adam, Alpha Delta Alpha Mike, and I'm in North Surrey, in a London borough of Sutton. I live in a town called Wallington in Surrey, which is just on the borders of North Surrey and Greater London. Okay, John, well, you're from Devon. You're with QSB at the peak of your signal. You're about a 5 and 8, 5 and 9. There is some short QSB there. I'm trying an experimental antenna at the moment. It's a basically, I live in a block of flats, and I've got an aerial suspended from the balcony at the moment, which is just a loading coil and an 8-foot telescopic whip. And I'm using for the counterpoise, I'm just using a random wire, which I use for top band to 60 metres, and just seeing how it works. It's a test before I go out and buy a more expensive antenna. Back to you, John. This is Golf 7, Charlie Romeo Quebec, over.
Okay, well you're going to smile now, Adam. I know you. Your name precedes you. I used to talk to you back in the 1980s. I originally come from the Sandown. We live in Esher in Surrey, and when I lived in Esher in Surrey, I used to talk to you down on 2 metre, I think. So yeah, nice to hear you. You're coming in very, very good. But don't forget, you got the height of the block of flats you're living in. So nice to hear you down there near Sutton. And yeah, I've got a friend of mine, or I did have a friend, he passed away now. You probably remember Ray Faulkner. He used to run the Sutton and Sheen radio group. Well, I used to be a member back in 1982-81. So I can only say I do remember you, I think. I got a load of friends in Croydon, a couple of friends in Wellington, other friends in Shirley, some in Addiscombe, some down in Bigging Hill, etc., etc. So yes, that part of the London area, or West London, I do know very, very well. And I used to work all over that area, quite regular, mainly on 11 metres. But I did get my G8 back in 83, 84, and I was on 2 metres, only for about 5 months. And I'm sure I worked you on there. And I probably worked you by GB3 Sugar Lima. So I'll put it back to you there, Adam. But your voice does now sound familiar to me. So maybe I've worked you back in the early 80s. G7, Charlie, Romeo, Quebec. Mr. Mike, Yankee Sure, Bravo. Back to you then, Sutton in Surrey. Mike, over to you. Go ahead again.
Okay, John, well, it's nice to know you remember me. Sorry, I can't remember you. I've been on air for years, so there we are. But I know a lot of the members of I know some of the members of the Sutton and Tune Club. Obviously, there's new faces in it. Obviously, you did have the Wimbledon Club, which is sort of like a voluntary club at the moment. It's not actually an active club. It's just an on-air club. You've also got the SRCC Club and the Crystal Palace clubs as well, and obviously the Cats as well. And you probably remember Frank G3ZMF, who's now sadly silent, Kean. Another station you might know from a lot of those groups, if you knew stations in Wallington, might be Martin G4FKK. But it's been a great first chat. This is, like I said, it's just an experimental antenna. It's not what's going up on the roof. As you might be aware, you're limited to what you can do in a block of flats. And I need a full-time aerial for 40 metres and above. And I'm intending to get one of these motor-driven screwdriver type antennas. And I needed to work out the earth bonding and counterpoise for it. And I think I've got it worked. I mean, once it's up where it's going to be about 65 foot up in the air. So, and it's about 75 foot up off the ground now. So it's well over a quarter wave above ground. So it's going to be a vertical, so it'll be low angle radiation anyway. But having it up in the clear, maybe a half wave above ground should make things even better on 40 metres. Once I start using it on 20 metres and above, it should be that much more efficient, and allow me to leave a full-time aerial up for 40 metres and above all the time. Anyway, back to you, John. This is Golf 7 Charlie Romeo Quebec. Hopefully you got all of that over.
No problem at all, Adam. You're 20 over 9, sounding really, really good. Well, I'm a member of the Thornton Heath group as well, so yeah, we do know each other. I just found you in my logbook here, so nice to hear you after, 40 plus year, is it? It must be about that. So the last time I actually operated from Surrey was back in 1990, so yeah, quite a while ago now, and nice to hear you. Well, you're doing really good. I think that screwdriver will work. It will work, I can assure you. I got friends of mine, they live very near Addiscombe. He's running a mobile antenna, and he gives me 5-9 every day of the week, so I think you will. You'll have fun with it, definitely. Regarding Martin and McCrown, yes, I sort of remember the name.
Just going to pause it, or does the video get too long? Yeah, okay, Mike 3, Yankee Sugar Bravo from Golf 7 Charlie Romeo Quebec. Well, I'll tell you what, for your sort of like 7 watts from Devon, you're doing exceedingly well. Yeah, fair play to you. Well, I'll tell you what I'm using at the moment. I'm using an Icon YC 7300, and obviously it's up on full power at the moment. It's at 100 watts with a very compromised temporary antenna. So that's how that's going to work. Okay, John. Well, if you want, and if you don't mind, if you look at my QRZ.com page, you see there's a link to my YouTube channel. Later on, when I've done the video editing to this video, you should see what you were received like with the aerial. You'll see the aerial I'm testing as well, and you'll see what you received like on your 7 watts here. So be another way of seeing your own signal report of the display of my radio. Okay, John, well, it's been a pleasure to work you, and hopefully we'll hook up again. 7 3s, this is G7CRQ.
Okay, up, or is it something completely different? I will look it up because there's quite a few people that have done it. And if you do the same, you look Mike Chorlstein up on YouTube, there's about 10 or 11 videos of me talking, and you'll realise how good I get out. I do exceptional.
Well, I'm really pleased with it. I just finished with John, and I didn't realise he's only running 7 watts. So, yeah, that works. So I'm going to go ahead and start thinking about investing in one of these. There's a local shop which might have a second-hand tile up for sale. If not, I'll be going for the one of the diamond screwdriver antennas. It's a shame Yaesu don't do a remote controller for their ATES aerials, because that could be another option, but they don't, so I can't. So I'm mainly looking at the diamond and maybe this second-hand Tar Heel, if they can find the control lead for it. Right, successful test. I know it's going to work. Thank you very much for watching.